Hey guys, welcome back to Floki's Models. Today's video we're going to be going over how I make custom vinyl masks using my silhouette portrait cutter. And to start out, of course, we need our decal sheet here to get our dimensions from. We need a notebook or piece of paper or something to write down our dimensions for later. And we need something to accurately measure these decals. Now at work, I use calipers a lot. I picked these up off of Amazon for about 30 bucks. They're really nice. They're not as good as my Monte-Toyos that I use at work, but at work it's like I'm working in thousandths of an inch. Most of my tolerance is only plus or minus 2 thousandths. But when I like to work on models and small stuff, I like to use the metric system since, let's be honest, the metric system makes way more sense. So first one we're going to measure is the big star and bar, and we just want to get as close as possible. Looks like we're at 55.21 millimeters on your width. And it looks like we're at 30.12 on height. Alright, and now we need to find our dimensions of the 117 since that's the build that we're making. $17.08, and that is over all width. Now I need to find the height of the numbers. Alright. It's looking like 15.63. Alright, now we're going to go find the width of the individual numbers. Which luckily the one would be the same, so we only have to measure it once. It looks like they come in at 2 millimeters apiece. And let's find the width of the 7. Looks like at 9.59. And lastly, we need to find the width of the spacing between the numbers. I'll set these to 2 millimeters because that's what it looks like. And yes, spacing between the numbers is 2 millimeters. If you don't have a pair of calipers, that's fine. If you don't want to invest in them, you can get cheaper ones than this. I think Harbor Freight sells a set that's pretty cheap. But a ruler works just as well. It's like this one has 30 seconds on one side, 64ths on the other. Again, personally, it's like I like using the metric system when it comes to model building. I can do the math quicker in my head. But, like I said, I'm also used to working in thousandths of an inch at work. But it's just whatever you're comfortable with. But me personally, when it comes to model building, metric just makes more sense to me.
Alright, now we're over here in the Silhouette Studio. And we're gonna first start with the bars. That's the wrong one. There we go. Now, these files were given to me, 3-4 years ago when I first got my silhouette portrait cutter by a buddy of mine. I'm not sure if he's the one that created all these or if just ones that he's collected. If interested, I'll make a GitHub and put these on there for you guys to get. Or, you can look for vector drawings on Google, which, I found a whole bunch of these on Google when I did a Google search. So we're gonna have to resize this because this is way too big as is. So our big star, it had a width of 55.21 and a height of 30.12. There's that one. Duplicate it. we're going to duplicate it a third time, because I always like to make at least one extra just in case I screw something up. Which I tend to screw things up a lot. And we'll duplicate that a fourth time. Bring it over here. Now, we'll make our small star and bar next, which it had a width of 49.32 and a height of 27.25. Alright. Duplicate that a few times. Now time to make the serial number, or the 117 number. Now for that I'm going to make a box. And give it a width of 17.08 because that is the width of all three numbers together. And I'll give it a height of 10 millimeters. Okay, and we'll use this as a guide block. Now go over to open. Alright. Grab the 1, bring it back over here. Paste it. Of course it is way over scale. So we have a width of 2 millimeters. And a height of 15.63. Grab that, and we'll stick it right at the edge of this box. Now, I'm going to make another box here. I'm going to make it 2 millimeters wide. And I'm going to say 15 high, make it easier to pick up and move around. And I'm going to use this to get my spacing correct, because there is 2 millimeter space between the numbers. So I'll duplicate the 1. Get it lined up. Move this on the other side. And we'll go grab the 7. There you go. Copy. I'll paste it over here. Uh-oh. We didn't get it all. Delete that. And the reason why I didn't get it all, because this file, this and this is 2 separate pieces, just like this here would be separate from here. Now, we'll come over here, we'll grab 7, we'll hit shift, and we'll grab the top piece. And we'll right click on it, hit group. Right click on it again, hit copy. Bring it over here and paste. Okay, now we got it, all of it. And we have a overall height of 15.63. And the width of the 7 was 9.59. Oh, I put them numbers in backwards. Alright. So height of 15.63 and a width of 9.59. Yeah, there, that looks better. And using that block as a spacer. There we go. There's our 117. Now we don't need these guide blocks any longer, so we'll delete them. We'll grab all 3 of these numbers, right click on it, hit group, and now we can move all 3 of them around together. I'll duplicate this a few times so I can have some extras. Or at least one extra. Now I like to use a force of 12 and speed of 5, and my cutting blade is set at 2. And this is a Silhouette Portrait 3. And we'll hit send and we'll go over and watch them get cut.
I know they're hard to see, but see how well they turned out. Again, 55.23, and we had aimed for 55.21, 0.02 of a millimeter. That's pretty dang good in my book right there. And let's take a look at the numbers. Overall length of 17.08. It looks like 17.68. So, half a millimeter on that. That's close enough for me. So I am pleased the way these turned out. See if I can't get the light to catch just right on them. There we go. And of course, after you take the white backing paper off, it's like they're translucent, so you can. It's really easy to line them up on the model. So we'll be using these here when we go to paint. So we'll jump over to that now.
And here is one of the masks cut out. I like to take a scrap piece of vinyl here and smooth over the top, just so I can keep the entire mask together once I peel it off the backing. And now I'm going to center it up as best as I can onto the wing, using the instructions as a guide. Then once I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to remove the top piece of vinyl, and go back and fix the bottom vinyl, and get it all smoothed out. Now into the spray booth. First color down is going to be AK Real Color Insignia White, mixed 50-50 with Mr. Leveling Thinner. Then after that is dried for a few minutes, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add the star and the bars to the areas that are going to be kept white. I'm then going to spray on some Mr. Color Insignia Blue, again mixed 50-50 with Mr. Leveling Thinner. Now time for my absolute favorite part, and that is removing all the masks and revealing that nice looking insignia underneath. Even more mask removing here. Let's start off with the 117. Hope you all enjoyed seeing this more detailed video on how I make and use my custom masks. Give the video a like if you did, and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out. Also check out my buddy's channel over at Columbus Models. I'll put a link down in the description for him. And again, thank you all so much, and stay tuned for many more builds to come.